Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. Hope you all will be fine. This is your lecture number 6, and in this lecture we will continue with the manufacturing process. So for that, let's have a quick recap of what we have discussed in our previous lecture. In our previous lecture, we started with manufacturing process. We discussed all the basic details of manufacturing process. We talked about the types of manufacturing process. In our previous lecture, we also covered principal factors that affect manufacturing process. Lastly, we highlighted the key success factors of manufacturing process. So that was about previous lecture. Let's talk about today's lecture. In our today's lecture, we will cover the remaining details of manufacturing process. We will talk about the plant location. We will explore the major factors to be considered before selection of location. We will also deep dive into the details of urban area, rural area, and suburbs areas. We will discuss pros and cons of each site. Then we will have plant layout. We will explore 4 major types of plant layouts. So that was it. Let's get started. Factory location. A plant should be located at a place where inhabitants are interested in its success, the products can be sold profitably, and production cost is minimum. According to Landsberg, a plant location is often result of compromise among conflicting social, economic, and geographical conditions. That means we have to consider all these aspects while finalizing our location. Now let's talk about the principal factors that can affect plant location. So first is location with respect to the marketing area. For materials that are produced in bulk quantities, such as cement, mineral acids, and fertilizers, the plant should be located close to the primary market. Next is raw material supply. The availability and price of suitable raw materials will often determine the site location. Plants producing bulk chemicals are best located close to the source of major raw material. For example, soda ash plant should be located near the salt lakes or near sea, where sodium chloride is available abundantly. Then we have transport facilities. The transport of materials and products to and from plant will be an overriding consideration. If practicable, a site should be selected that is close to at least 2 major forms of transport. Number 1, road, railway, waterway, or a seaport. Then we have availability of labor. Labor will be needed for construction of the plant and its operation. So availability of suitable labor is another factor that should be considered before selection of location. Then we have availability of utilities. The word utility is now generally used for the ancillary services needed in the operation of any production process. These services will normally be supplied from a central facility and will include electricity, steam for process heating, cooling water or water for general use, refrigeration, effluent disposal facilities. Next is availability of suitable land. Now suitable land is another very vital factor that should be considered. Then we have environmental impact and effluent disposal. All industrial processes produce waste products. and full consideration must be given to the difficulties and cost of their disposal. The disposal of toxic and harmful effluents will be covered by local regulations, and the appropriate authorities must be consulted during the initial site survey to determine the standard that must be met. Then we have local community consideration. The plant must be acceptable to local community such that it should not impose any kind of additional risk to community that should be available for proposed plan and future expansion. Then we have climate. Adverse climate conditions at site will increase cost. Like abnormally low temperatures will require the provision of additional insulations and special heating for equipment and piping. Then we have political strategic consideration. Now, capital grants, tax concessions and other inducements are often given by the government to direct new investments to preferred locations such as area of high unemployment. So these were the factors that must be considered before selecting a location. Now let's have a look on different types of areas. First is urban area or city area. So before discussing the pros and cons of each area, first understand the difference between these areas. So an urban area is a region surrounding a city. Most inhabitants of urban areas have non-agricultural jobs. Urban areas are very developed, meaning there is a density of human structures such as houses, commercial buildings, roads, bridges and railways. Now I think you all got a clear picture of what do we mean by an urban area. Now let's move towards the advantages and disadvantages of having a location in urban areas. So in urban areas, good transport facilities are available for the movement of raw materials and finished products by rail and road, and at times by water and air. Also, good and prompt postal and communication services are available in urban areas. Banking and credit facilities are also there. Services of insurance companies are available in city areas. Also, sufficient storing facilities including cold storage are available. There is ample availability of skilled and unskilled workers in urban areas, and there is also advantages of vicinity of market for the product. Due to large population, the local demand for the product is fairly high. Sufficient passenger transport facilities by road and railways are also available for employees. Development of the training institute for the workers and management institutes for the executives put the city area units into privileged positions. Certain specific municipal area facilities are available only in the city areas. There are also some disadvantages of urban areas, like cost of the land is very high as compared to rural areas. Even at high cost, sufficient land is not available, which puts constraints on the arrangement of plant and machines. Sometimes multi-story buildings are used, which are not suitable for the installation of heavy machinery and plant. Also, due to high standards of living in city area, the cost of labor is relatively high, and due to possibilities of changing jobs from one unit to another, and tendency of competitors to snatch away the good employees, the rate of labor turnover is very high in city areas. Then the trade union movement is very strong in city areas as compared to rural areas. Various type of taxes are also very high in city areas. Then certain municipal restrictions put constraints and involve extra cost. Then we have rural areas. Rural areas are the opposite of urban areas. Rural areas, often called the country, have low population density and large amount of undeveloped land. Usually the difference between a rural area and an urban area is clear, but in developed countries with large populations such as Japan, America, the difference is becoming less clear. Now, urban areas, rural areas do have so many advantages, as compared to city area, the land is available at cheaper rates. Large plots of the land area available which can be developed for a factory sites, office buildings and residential quarters. Horizontal arrangement of plant machines in the vast areas of the land is possible. Then, due to lower standard of living, the rates of labor are also relatively lower in rural areas. As compared to the city areas, the labor force is more or less stable, which reduces the rate of labor turnover. The local taxes, which are found very high in the city areas, are practically non-existent in rural areas. The municipal restrictions which are found in city areas do not exist in rural areas, like height of the building and other. Also, slums and dirty residents are not found in rural areas. The rural area is conducive to good health of workers. But along with all these advantages, there are certain disadvantages, like transportation facilities are not available in good condition and sufficient quantities. Also, banking and credit facilities are not available. Then absence of insurance facilities, also storing and warehouse facilities are not available in rural areas. Sometimes the means of transport are not available. It is generally also not easy to get skilled workers in rural areas. Municipal facilities like water supply, drainage, firefighting, and other like these are not available in rural areas. There is also absence of recreation facilities like good education, good and sufficient medical facilities. Then we have suburban areas. Suburban areas are smaller urban areas that surround cities. Most suburban areas are less densely populated than city areas. They serve as the residential area for most of the urban areas or the city workforce. The land in suburban area is available at cheaper rates as compared to the urban areas. Also, adequate land is available for future expansion unit. The machines can be installed horizontally and still the provision for the future expansion can be made. Then infrastructure facilities like road, water supply, drainage, banking, warehouses, these are developed. As city area is nearest, the skilled and unskilled both type of labors are available. It is also possible to tap the advantages of industrial training institutes, management development programs, research institutes which are available in nearby city areas. The nearby city area provides a substantial market for the products of the unit. This reduces the cost of marketing the finished products, and other ancillary advantages of the marketing are also available. Educational institutes, medical facilities, and other recreational facilities are available in the suburban areas itself as well as in the nearby city areas. Next we have factory layouts. There are different types of layouts. In our today's lecture we will discuss the 4 major types of factory layouts, like static or fixed position layouts, process-based layouts, seller group layout, and product-based layout. So let's discuss each individually. So first one is static or fixed position layout. The fixed position layout describes the type of manufacturing where the process are brought to the product and not the product to the process. In general, this type of layout is used for product that has constraining characteristics such as very large or heavy or has some other constraints that prevents its location from being altered while under construction or manufacturing. In fixed position layout, production equipment and personnel are transported to the product and generally involve low volume products with small lot sizes. For example, airplane manufacturing, shipyard, railway systems. Next we have process layout. Process layouts are found primarily in firms that produces customized low volume products that may require different processing requirements and sequences of operations. Process layouts are facility configurations in which operations of similar nature or functions are grouped together. Their purpose is to process goods that involves a variety of processing requirements. A manufacturing example of process layout would be machine shop. A machine shop has generally separate departments where general purpose machines are grouped together by function like milling, grinding, hydraulic pressure, etc. Next we have seller group layout. Products with similar process requirements are assigned to same manufacturing cell. Or we can say, in simple words, group layout is a kind of layout where machines doing similar operations are grouped together. Next we have product-based layout. The layout conforms to the sequence of operations required to produce a product. Here focus is around the product, not on process. An example is automobile assembly, where almost all variants of same model requires the same sequence of operations or process. Fine. So that was about layouts. Here your task is to comment in the comment box about the top manufacturing countries of the world. Now we have done with our today's lecture. Let's wrap up our today's lecture. In today's lecture we discussed the remaining concepts of manufacturing process. We talked about plant location. We discussed factors to be considered for plant location. We discussed in detail different areas. We talked about pros and cons of urban areas, rural areas, suburban areas. Then we discussed plant layouts. We deep dive into the 4 major types of plants layout. So that was it. See you inshallah in our next lecture. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.